Hello and welcome to the Prince William County Public Schools Community Meeting for the Potomac Shores Middle School. I am Dr. Cartledge, the Supervisor of Planning in the Office of Facility Services. You might be concerned about how redistricting might affect you, and what you want is to feel heard and influential in this boundary planning process currently underway. And you're looking for any way to make that happen. One of those ways is being here tonight. So let's walk through the presentation together. Before we begin, we have a brief announcement from our sponsors. Okay, there are no sponsors, and we thank you for being here anyways. Apparently, making it to Thursday night prime time is a tough road and stiff competition, but we don't have any sponsors yet, so we'll just go ahead and move forward with this evening's presentation. Before we begin, a few housekeeping items to address. On your screen right now are two QR codes and shortened URLs. On your smartphone, Android or iOS, open your camera app, point the camera at the QR code. English is on the left and Spanish is on the right. Then you'll likely be prompted to tap a link to be directed to the meeting handout. Alternatively, you may type the shortened URLs in the web browser, such as Chrome, Safari, Firefox, what have you. These are case-sensitive URLs, so please pay attention to the case. Next, the slides presented this evening are available in English and in Spanish on tab 8 of the Potomac Shores Middle School Boundary Portal. That is linked in the digital meeting handout that you could be viewing if you follow the tiny URL or the QR codes. Live captioning is available in the chat box for those viewing via GoToWebinar, or alternatively at pwcstv.com. Lastly, I want to thank PWCS's Community Relations team, Media Production team, and Translation Services team for helping us not only notify you of tonight's event, broadcasting it, and also reducing language barriers. We have a few formal greetings to extend this evening. Then we will begin our informational piece of tonight's meeting, then conclude with the forum component of the meeting. We'd like to welcome the Potomac Shores Middle School Boundary Planning Committee this evening. We'd like to welcome school board members in attendance. We have Dr. Latif Chairman, Ms. Diane Ralston, Yapsco District, Ms. Lily Jesse, Occoquan District, Ms. Lori Williams, Woodbridge District, Mr. Justin Wilk, Potomac District, Ms. Lisa Zargapur, Coles District, Ms. Wall, Gainesville District. We'd also like to extend a warm welcome to Vice Mayor Monet Nickerson for the town of Dumfries. We'd also like to thank the list of staff members who have contributed to this planning process. You'll notice that some of the names on your screen now have an asterisk next to them. They will be our panelists joining me this evening. We have Mr. Bixby, Associate Superintendent for Middle Schools, Mr. Beavers, Supervisor of Planning and Financial Services, Mr. Townsend, School Planning Administrative Coordinator, Mr. Halsey, Senior GIS Analyst, Admin Coordinator, and Ms. Coble. She is helping us from our Transportation Services Department. The sequencing of our meeting will follow a brief explanation of why this meeting is necessary, followed by forthcoming capital improvements in Prince William County schools. We will next discuss the process underway that helps PWCS utilize the additional seats for students that Potomac Shores Middle School will offer for the 21-22 school year. For those who registered in advance of this meeting to speak, there will be an open forum at the end of this session. It's our intent to end this meeting at 9 p.m., so please keep your comments direct and succinct. Planning serves in an advisory capacity to the school board. One of our subject areas is identifying overcrowding and planning overcrowding relief measures. The request for portable classrooms by school principals to serve students because of overcrowding is one indicator of space constraints in a school. Currently, there are 31 portable classrooms being used by Eastern middle schools to house students during the school day. Fred Lynn Middle School has 10, and you can see in the lower right-hand portion of the slide, we have an aerial photo of Fred Lynn Middle School and a red box that's outlining where some of these portable classrooms are located. Woodbridge Middle, top right corner, has 9 portable classrooms, and the list goes on with 8 at Graham Park Middle, 2 at Hampton, and 2 at Ripon Middle. Beyond the existence of these portable classrooms at select middle schools in the eastern part of Prince William County, our student enrollment forecast suggests that overcrowding will be a continued concern at several middle schools in this region. On your screen now is a graphic that shows the projections of select middle schools in eastern Prince William County. And you can see that in 2021, the year that Potomac Shores Middle School is scheduled to open, a number of these schools are significantly over capacity. The capacity is identified by the red line at 100%. Planning can recommend to the school board adjustments be made to school attendance areas, classroom additions to be constructed on existing schools, or the construction of new schools. Based on the magnitude of the forecasted overcrowding, the school board approved the construction of a new middle school. Here we have an architectural rendering of Potomac Shores Middle School. It is a new prototype or floor plan that has not been previously built in PWCS. It will open with a capacity of approximately 1,462 seats. There will be dedicated spaces in the building to STEM, maker spaces, and it will have an auditorium with approximately 800 seats. It'll be our second middle school in PWCS to offer an auditorium. We have a site layout of the new middle school. The location of the new school is located near the intersection of Woodsview Drive and River Heritage Boulevard. Approaching the site from Route 1 driving southeast on River Heritage Boulevard, you would pass Covington Harper Elementary on the left. Next, you would see St. John Paul, the Great Catholic High School, also on the left. You'd be approaching the Ali Krieger Sports Complex before reaching the new middle school on the right. Access for it will be from Woodsview Drive. We have a recent aerial photo of the construction site, and you can see the construction is well underway for our school. And we are anticipating it to open on time for the fall of 2021-22. This aerial photo was taken this February. School attendance areas can assist in balancing student enrollment among schools in PWCS. We'll now discuss the process employed in PWCS to plan the boundaries for them. School Board Policy 264 is the governing doctrine that allows for public school divisions in the Commonwealth of Virginia to establish pupil assignments to its schools. It is accompanied by School Board Regulation 264-1 that serves as a metaphorical roadmap for the Boundary Planning Committee and planning staff to follow. We will discuss both of these briefly in the upcoming slides. School Board Policy 264 allows for the creation of a boundary planning committee. The committee is intended to collect feedback on boundary plan proposals and then incorporate this public input into the drafting of additional proposals. This evening, its members are here virtually to receive the feedback from those community members who are willing and able to attend this meeting. The committee's volunteering efforts will conclude with the final report, and that will be given to the school board next week at its May 20th school board meeting. In this final report, there will be up to 3 boundary proposals recommended to the school board for its consideration. I'd like to say that the staff's role, as well as the committee's role, is advisory in nature. We are here to provide a recommendation, but boundary planning is very challenging. There are many factors to consider, and the school board will ultimately establish the boundaries based on the need to provide for instructional effectiveness and the health, safety, and general welfare of all of our students. There were approximately 200 applicants who applied to serve on the Boundary Planning Committee. Of those applicants, we were selecting 15 members based on the cap that School Board Regulation 264-1 advises. Within the 8 schools, each of them have 2 members representing the school. Hampton has 1 member, and recently, Superintendent Waltz, after hearing feedback and input from the first community meeting, has granted planning a waiver on the cap to allow a member of the Potomac Shores community to serve on the committee. And we welcome Mr. Colson. We did a brief onboarding last week, and he joined us at our most recent committee meeting and was active. The responsibilities of the committee include reviewing the initial plan developed by the Office of Facilities Services. We call this the preliminary plan. We'll walk through its features this evening, and it is available on the Potomac Shores Middle School Boundary Portal. The task is also to analyze student enrollment, the school capacity, housing, and demographic data. As input is provided by the public, the committee members collaborate and develop new boundary plans. We will be seeing those this evening. We saw Plan 1 and Plan 2 at last week's meeting. This evening, we'll see Plan 1 again and Plan 2A. They also hold 2 community meetings. This is our second and final one. The purpose of this is to not only educate the public on which proposals are under consideration, but it's also another opportunity for us to gain input. Lastly, as I mentioned, these proposals do become modified, and that's the purview of the committee. Lastly, they conclude their efforts with a final report that they provide to the school board, and within that, up to 3 proposals can be offered to the board for its consideration. Let's focus more specifically on what these proposals might look like. Each boundary plan will attempt to provide, School Board's Regulation 264-1 provides guidance for the Boundary Planning Committee to consider when drafting these boundary plans. Each of the boundary plans will attempt to balance enrollments at the affected schools within plus or minus 15% of the total capacity utilization. So what does that mean? Based on our student enrollment projections and the combined capacity of our 8 existing plus 1 new school, Potomac Shores, in the 3rd year that the school is open, we anticipate these schools collectively to be at 91.2% of total capacity utilization. Therefore, each individual school can be no more than 15% below 91.2 and no more than 15% above 91.2%. Each boundary plan will attempt to minimize the number of times that a specific geographic area is reassigned at a particular level. It might be noteworthy to mention that areas that were recently reassigned at the elementary level do not prevent themselves from being reassigned at the middle school level, as the regulation is attempting to minimize the number of times that a specific neighborhood is reassigned at the same level. Each boundary plan will attempt to facilitate the efficient transport of students. This is also to include looking at which neighborhoods might be within a walker boundary of a school. It's also an efficient transport of students if these students can maintain their walker status. Each boundary plan will also attempt to avoid splitting small neighborhoods, improve the geographic progression of communities. And so by that, the regulation is meaning that if a neighborhood collectively goes to this elementary school, trying to maintain that progression from elementary to middle to high school together. Lastly, each boundary plan will attempt to consider the demographic composition resulting from changing and shifting attendance areas. It's very important to remember that boundary proposals attempt to embrace all of these parameters, but none of them are optimized, and certainly not all of them are optimized together. In summary, The staff, the Boundary Planning Committee, and the public serve the school board in an advisory capacity. The school board receives our recommendations and then takes on the difficult task of establishing the school boundaries. As we mentioned earlier, the Boundary Planning Committee begins their work with a preliminary plan drafted by the Planning Office. Walking through its features is next on our meeting agenda this evening. Each of the school attendance area proposals about to be discussed are available for viewing on the Potomac Shores Middle School Boundary Portal. We have two portals running concurrently. One is entirely in English and one is entirely in Spanish. We have provided links for each of those on this screen. And just as a reminder, these links are case sensitive. We encourage you, once you have opened the portal in your preferred language, to visit tab 5, as I have shown on the screen right now. Tab 5 allows you to enter your address in this box right here. And as an example, we have 112 Virginia Drive, Dumfries, Virginia. And once you type in your address, a corresponding pop-up box will appear, and you will see what your current middle school assignment is, and it will also tell you what your residence's assignment is for each of the boundary proposals currently under consideration. You will see in our example that Potomac Middle School is the current assignment for this particular address, and in the preliminary plan, Plan 1 and Plan 2, Potomac Shores Middle School is the proposed assignment. Tab 5 is designed to help community members understand how they might be affected by changing school attendance areas. In the digital meeting handouts and on the following slides, we will share a series of maps that will begin with one displaying small amounts of detail, followed by ones focusing on smaller geographic areas and displaying greater amounts of detail. We begin with the preliminary plan. As you might recall, that's a plan that the planning team drafted and served as a starting point for the Boundary Planning Committee. Then we will progress and discuss plans 1, 2, and 2A. These plans have all been drafted by the committee. Before we move too much further ahead, let's just briefly look at this map together and discuss how to read the map. The orange lines on this map symbolize existing middle school boundaries. Areas shaded in a color represent the proposed attendance area for each school. I'll mention that areas that are shaded and outlined by an orange line indicate that this boundary line is not changing. An example might be along Old Bridge Road. You can see that this light shading for Woodbridge Middle is outlined by an orange line indicating that it is not proposed for reassignment. That differs from this portion along Minnieville that you can see the orange line here. It is not outlining this portion, and this is an area being proposed for reassignment to Bevel Middle School per the preliminary plan. We have a very large geographic area in the scope of our project that's better communicated on two maps. So at this time, I will show the southern portion of this target scope, and this is still for the preliminary plan. Our planning team maintains a data set of residential communities throughout PWC. We have now made this available on tab 4 of the portal so that when you zoom in, you may see what some of the different neighborhoods are, and you'll see a screen quite similar to the screen that we have right now showing two different geographic areas. We make efforts to use names posted on community signage or descriptive names when that might not be present. At this time, I'll quickly advance through the slides and voice the neighborhoods, streets, or communities proposed for reassignment in the preliminary plan. After we move through those, I'll move on to Plan 1, only mentioning the differences between it and the preliminary plan. And then at the conclusion of Plan 1, we will repeat that same process and identify the differences between Plan 2A and the preliminary plan. Per the preliminary plan, proposed for reassignment to Bevel Middle from Woodbridge Middle School, Dale City G Streets, Daleview Manor, Jerry Lane Neighborhood, Meadows of Minnieville, Cardinal Knolls, Cardinal Point, High Bridge, Neabsco Hills, towns of Forest Hills, and Wexford. To Potomac Middle from Grand Park Middle, Brittany Neighborhood, Four Seasons, Lake Crest, Montclair, Alexander Square HOA, Montclair Stockbridge, Montclair Country Club, Oasis at Montclair. From Hampton to Potomac Middle School, part of Dale City C Streets. To Potomac Middle continued from Ripon, Ascot Woods, Bow Ridge Estates, Brightwood Forest, Cardinal Drive Substation, Cardinal Forest, Cardinal Glen, Cardinal Ridge, Cardinal Trace, Dale City A Streets, Dale City W Streets, Markham's Grant, Neabsco Commons Condos, Ripon Landing, Sedgwick Heights, Stacy's Ridge, Sutton's Apartments. To Potomac Shores Middle, from Potomac Middle, Briarwood Apartments, Georgetown Village, Hampstead Landing, Homes of Quantico Creek, Kelly's Ridge Center Condos, Neabsco Landing, Newport, Orchard Landing, Port Potomac, Possum Point, Potomac Ridge, Potomac Shores, Powell's Landing, River Oaks, Riverwood Apartment and Townhomes, Shorehaven Apartments, Swans Creek, Tripoli Heights, Victoria Park, Wayside, and Woods at Victory Place Park. To Ripon Middle School from Fred Lynn Middle, Featherstone Terrace, Linwood, Marumsco Acres, Village Square, Willowbrook. From Woodbridge Middle to Ripon, Marumsco Hills south of the Parkway, Potomac Prof Village Condos. To Saunders from Bevel Middle, Dale City T Streets off of Trentdale. From Grand Park to Saunders, Montclair Lake, Montclair South Lake Landing. To Woodbridge Middle, from Fred Lynn Middle School, Dawson's Ridge, Kensington Apartments, and part of Rolling Brook. On the screen now is the projected number of students per the boundaries just discussed, as well as the demographic composition of the schools. This table is also provided to you in your digital meeting handout. In your digital meeting handout, you'll notice two tables that almost appear as a mirror image of each other. The top half are the figures associated with the current attendance areas for each middle school. The bottom half are the figures related to the proposed boundary changes associated with the preliminary plan. The bottom half of the table on the handout is what is being presented to you at this moment. We'll walk through the table from left to right. On the far left side, we'll have the school name next to the school capacity and the number of portable classrooms. You'll notice that the top half of your digital handout lists the number of portable classrooms present as mitigation efforts for overcrowding. For example, you'll see 8 at Grand Park Middle School, and the sum of all of them would be 31 portable classrooms. The bottom half of the digital meeting handout, which is being presented here, indicates the corresponding figures per the preliminary plan. We do not list projected numbers of portable classrooms needed at schools 2 years into the future. The allocation of such portable classrooms is planned about 6 months prior to the school year of when they're needed. Next, moving from left to right, we will look at the data under students residing in attendance area on September 30th and 19. We've provided the total number of students residing within each of the attendance areas and the percent of capacity utilization they alone would exert on the assigned school. Additionally, moving further to the right, the student demographics of these residing students are provided. Just want to mention and re-emphasize that the demographics that are provided on these tables are not projections of future students. They are students who were present on September 30th of 2019, a snapshot in time. These percentages represent what the percent of limited English proficiency students, percentage of economically disadvantaged students, and percentage of minority students would be at these schools if these attendance areas in the preliminary plan were retroactively in effect. In other words, if they were the boundaries on September 30th of 2019, these would be the resulting percentages. Viewers can observe the possible changes in a school's demographic composition resulting from the preliminary plan by comparing the demographic figures present at the top table with the current boundaries and compare those to those listed in the preliminary plan or the bottom half of the table. Moving left to right across the table, we'll continue on. We present the student enrollment forecast for each school. For the first 3 years, we coined these as short range forecasts. And then further to the right, we have our long range forecasts. Like any forecast that is based on historical data and using those trends present to extrapolate or project into the future, forecasts that are projecting years nearer in the future are inherently more accurate than those further into the future. In the year 23-24, it is projected that these middle schools collectively, as I alluded to earlier, will reach 91.5% of combined capacity. Just want to re-emphasize now that we have something a little bit more tangible, what does that plus or minus 15% mean? You'll see that in the third year that the school opens, and the third year that the boundaries would be in effect, 23-24, that in total, the percent of capacity of all the schools is 91.5%. That's our projection. Therefore, each individual school must be within plus or minus 15% of that 91.5%. The range then would be 76.5% on the low end, meaning that each school must be at least 76.5% of capacity and no more than 106.5%. As we mentioned earlier, the Boundary Planning Committee began their work with the preliminary plan, and then they crafted their first plan, Plan 1. We're going to walk through its features next. In case you might just be joining us, it's our recommendation and our recommended way to learn how your middle school assignment might change beginning in the 21-22 school year is to visit the Potomac Shores Middle School portal. We do have 2 versions of the portal, one in English, one in Spanish, and we encourage you to check those out and visit tab 5. Slides 31 and 32 provide general overviews of the proposed school attendance areas in Plan 1. You'll find these in your digital meeting handout. Because of the large geographic extent, we've split this between 2 maps. Here's the north section, and here's the southern section. We'll focus our attention only on the ways in which Plan 1 deviates from the proposed changes already mentioned in the preliminary plan. To Bevel Middle from Woodbridge Middle, Puffin Barker Estates, from Saunders Middle to Potomac Middle, Montclair Lake and Montclair South Lake. To Ripon Middle, from Potomac Middle, Ripon Landing, Sutton Apartments. To Saunders Middle, from Potomac Middle, Cardinal Ridge. On the screen now is the projected number of students per the boundaries discussed, as well as the demographic composition of each school. As a reminder, this table has been provided as part of the digital meeting handout, and you can glance back at that at your leisure. It is also available for viewing on tab 8 of the Potomac Shores Middle School Boundary Portal. As I said earlier, the Boundary Planning Committee begins their work with a plan drafted by the Planning Office, and then since then it has crafted Plan 1 and Plan 2. Plan 2A has most of Plan 2's features, but it has also minor differences that were motivated by feedback collected at the first community meeting, the portal's feedback, and other electronic communications between community members and the Boundary Planning Committee. We're next going to walk through the features of Plan 2A, as it is the next item on our meeting agenda. In similar fashion, we start with a general overview of the plan. This is the northern section. Glancing at the southern section. And we'll read through the school assignments. In case you just joined us, we're only going to focus our attention on the ways in which Plan 2A deviates from the proposed changes already discussed in the preliminary plan, out of respect for your time and so that we can move to the public forum and have a chance to listen to your input. To Bevel Middle from Woodbridge Middle, Puffenbarger Estates, to Hampton Middle from Potomac Middle, Dale City, A Streets. To Lynn Middle from Woodbridge Middle, Brook Farm, Park Center, Riverwood Apartments, and Rolling Brook. To Potomac Middle from Hampton, High Bridge, Cardinal Point, and Neabsco Hills. To Potomac Middle from Potomac Shores Middle, Georgetown Village, Neabsco Landing, Newport, Port Potomac, Potomac Ridge, Powell's Landing, part of Riverwood Apartments and Townhomes in Lake Ridge. To Potomac Shores from Grand Park, Davis Estates. From Potomac Middle to Potomac Shores Middle, Brittany Neighborhood, Davis Estates, Four Seasons, Lake Crest, Montclair, Alexander Square HOA, Montclair Stockbridge Condos, Montclair Country Club, Oasis at Montclair, Princeton Woods, Virginia Commons. From Saunders to Potomac Shores Middle, Montclair Lake, and Montclair South Lake Landing. To Ripon from Potomac Middle, Ripon Landing, Sutton Apartments. From Fred Lynn Middle to Ripon, part of the Marumsco Acres, the Bayside Avenue, Bay Vista Drive, and Cove Landing Drive areas. To Saunders from Bevel Middle School, Dale City M Streets, Melodew Court, Macwood Drive, Mahoney Drive. To Woodbridge Middle from Ripon, Marumsco Hills. Provided to you now is the projected number of students per the boundaries just discussed, as well as the demographic composition resulting from these boundaries for each school. You can also find these in your digital meeting handout or by visiting tab 8 on the Potomac Shores Middle School Boundary Portal. Summarized on this slide is the projected number of students at each school by proposed boundary plan for the 23-24 school year. As a reminder, it is this year that School Board Regulation 264-1 requires the balancing of student enrollment among these schools. As you can see in all three of these plans currently under consideration, the Prelim Plan, Plan 1, and Plan 2A, the schools are forecasted to be below 100% of capacity. We also have provided some comparative charts that allow us to dive into the demographic compositions of the schools and compare what each was based on the current attendance areas and how those might change based on either the preliminary plan, Plan 1, or Plan 2A. As a reminder, School Board Regulation 264-1 requires a mindfulness of the demographic composition of schools when undergoing attendance area adjustments. We'll take a look forward. Planning will virtually meet with the Boundary Planning Committee for the final time early next week so that they can consider the incorporating the feedback gathered either at tonight's community meeting or via the portal's form on tab 9, as it creates additional boundary proposals potentially. It's a good reminder that the boundary portal form will be open all weekend. Please have us the feedback that you'd like to share with us before Monday, May 18th. I'd like to reiterate that new boundary plans can be generated at the request of the committee at this final Boundary Planning Committee meeting scheduled on the evening of May 18th. At the end of this meeting, the committee will vote on up to 3 boundary plans for recommendation to the school board. Next week, next Wednesday on May 20th, the recommendations will be made to the school board at its public meeting, all conducted virtually. Community members may sign up to speak during citizens' comment time to offer feedback on the proposed boundary plans being recommended by the Boundary Planning Committee. Looking further into the future, on June 10th, a public hearing is scheduled so that the community members may address the school board one last time prior to the school board establishing the middle school boundaries for the 2021-22 school year. For both citizens' comment time and for the hearing, if you wish to speak, you will need to sign up in advance. We will post instructions on the boundary planning portal. We'd like to share with you our contact information. I've enjoyed email correspondences with some residents today, answering questions, providing feedback, pointing you to our online resources. Again, we would like to show you our 2 links to either the Spanish or the English Potomac Shores Middle School Boundary Portal. And just please remember that each link is case sensitive. Now it's time for the staff and the committee to hear from you during our public forum. I have a list of speakers who signed up in advance to speak by 6 p.m. today. I'm going to call on speakers to speak in the order in which they signed up. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak. If we are unable to hear you for any reason, we'll ask that you submit your comment in writing for later public posting at the provided link on this slide. This also coincides with the feedback tab on the Potomac Shores Middle School Boundary Portal. As a reminder, please get those comments into us by Monday. So Sunday, 11:59 p.m. before then. And then these comments will be provided to the Boundary Planning Committee and also later posted on the portal on tab 8. Please state your name, community, and school before making your comment. Please follow the rules of decorum. Okay, at this time, we are going to put on the slide a 3-minute counter. We ask that you keep your comments brief, succinct, and to the point, out of respect of everyone who would like to speak this evening. I'm going to call the first speaker, and then I'm going to move down my list to let the next speaker know who is next in line. Our first speaker is Nicole Eichhoff, followed by Sarah Rivas. Nicole, if you are with us, the floor is yours.
Dr. Cartledge, neither of them are in the queue. The first speaker that we do have in the queue is Will Sutter, if we want to skip to him.
Okay, we're going to move down to a couple of speakers. It looks like Mr. Will Sutter is available, and after Will Sutter will be Abdul Wishi. Mr. Sutter, the floor is yours.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great, thank you. Yes, my name is Will Sutter, and
What is this?
Mr. Sutter, Mr. Sutter, we're having a hard time.
We're in the Grand Park zone.
Yeah, Mr. Sutter, we're having a little bit of a hard time hearing you. We're going to let you work on your microphone, and we're going to come back up to you in just a few moments. At this time, we're going to drop down to Abdul Wishi. The floor is yours. Okay, I don't think we have Abdul with us. We're going to now move on to...
He is there. He just needs to unmute his microphone.
Okay, Abdul, you are with us. It sounds like you just need to unmute the microphone. Just a little icon there. Looks like an old style microphone. If you click that once, it should turn green and we should be able to hear you. Okay, for any of our speakers who were unable to hear this evening, that's why we have the link provided to a form that will let you make your public statement anytime between now and Sunday at 11:59 p.m. We will then later post those comments on tab 8. We're going to move now on to Eric Flores. Following Eric Flores is Elias Corpus Jr. Eric Flores, we're ready for you.
And it looks like Mr. Flores will be using the interpreter services.
Señor Flores, mi nombre es Pedro Batista, yo soy su intérprete. Por favor, identifíquese la comunidad donde usted reside y también la escuela intermedia a la cual sus hijos o hijas asisten.
Looks like he is not in the queue. The next person that we do have that's on our list is Luis Morris. Luis Morris.
Okay, we're moving down to Luis Morris. Following Luis Morris will be Shannon Alston. Luis Morris, we're ready to hear from you.
Mr. Morris, si usted es hispanoparlante, yo soy su intérprete.
I don't think he requires your services. Thank you, though.
He's there and his microphone is unmuted.
Please go ahead, Mr. Morris.
All right, Mr. Morris, we're not able to hear from you. We're going to circle back with you. We know you're there. We know you have a microphone and capable equipment. We're going to jump back up to Will Sutter, another individual who we know is here and was having some mic troubles earlier. Mr. Sutter, can we try you again?
Yes, can you hear me all now?
Yes, loud and clear. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you for
I
joining
apologize.
us.
Absolutely, and thank you for your time. I just wanted to say a quick support for Plan 2A. So we're in the Davis Estates community, currently assigned to Graham Park, and 2A would move us in with our neighbors surrounding us at the Brittany, Copper Mill, and Four Seasons communities to go together with the same school. So I just wanted to, anyone listening from Davis Estates, I would highly encourage you to support Plan 2A. And I wanted to say a big thanks to my school board member, Justin Wilk, and the committee and Dr. Cartledge for, for responding to the feedback that we sent. And I just think that that anyone listening to go ahead and support 2A from Davis Estates. Thanks very much, and thanks to the committee for your time. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Sutter. Glad that we were able to work through those technical difficulties. Speaking of technical difficulties, we're going to go back to Luis Morris. If Luis Morris is available, we're going to listen to some feedback from Luis Morris. Following Luis Morris will be Shannon Alston. Luis, go ahead and let's hear from you.
And it might just be Lewis in case there's any confusion. Lewis Morris.
Okay, we're going to move on down to Shannon Alston. Following Shannon Alston will be Lisa Snyder. Ms. Alston, if you're with us, the floor is yours.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Hello. So I reside in the Potomac Shores community, and I wanted to ask, because I missed some of the slides, I have a two-part question. So
Sure.
my first question is, will the children that live in Potomac Shores be all included in the Potomac Middle School plan? Because I've heard rumors that they may split the neighborhood up.
Yes, I'll answer that one first. And the plans currently under consideration, there are no splits within the Potomac Shores community. All of it is assigned to Potomac Shores Middle.
Okay. All right. So that answers my first question. Second question was, will there be anybody who resides in Potomac Shores on the planning committee? Will there be anybody selected?
Yes, based on the feedback that we received at our community meeting last week, Dr. Waltz, our superintendent of schools, granted the planning department a waiver from the 15-member limit that is placed on the boundary planning committee. By giving us that extension, we have been allowed to include a member from the Potomac Shores community. His name is Mr. Colson. His contact information is available on the list of committee members on tab 8 of the portal. And he was at our last committee meeting and was an active participant.
Okay, great. So those are my questions. Thank you.
All right, thanks for joining us this evening. Okay, looking down our list of callers, we have Lisa Snyder is going to be our next speaker. Following Lisa Snyder is going to be Mackenzie Leod, excuse me. Ms. Snyder, if you're available, we're ready for you.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Thanks for joining us.
Great. Okay, so I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for all of your time and expertise on working through the boundary plans. I can only imagine how difficult and challenging it can be when working with so many different constituencies and things to consider. My husband and I have 3 children who attend schools in the county, and we live in Montclair. We have a rising 6th grader who will be attending Graham Park in the math and science program in Signet this fall, and a rising 4th grader and a rising kindergarten at Patty. My husband is also a teacher and the athletic director at Hampton Middle School and has been teaching there for the last 17 years. Our family would like to share our support for Plan 2A. Plan 2A allows for a majority of the students who currently attend Patty to stay together as a group. One of our biggest concerns is having our children split amongst so many different middle schools and the challenges that will bring socially, emotionally, mentally, and academically. Plan 2A will allow for a majority of the Patty kids to stick together in middle school and then transition together as a group back to their base high school and be reunited with some of their other Patty mates. No matter which plan we choose, my rising 6th grader will be impacted significantly. Regardless, she will have to make
That's okay. Take your time. We still have close to a minute and a half left.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's this kind of drama that allows our ratings to hopefully go up so that the next time we have a community meeting, we might have a sponsor in the beginning of the session. So we appreciate this. This was not a plant. We promise that. It'll be authentic in our experience.
Yeah, I'm about as authentic as you can get. Regardless, so no matter what plan we choose, my rising 6th grader will be impacted significantly. She will have to make the transition to 2 different middle schools in the span of 3 years. Plan 2A will allow some of that, will help some of that because it allows for a majority of the Patty kids to stay together and transition together, whereas other plans have them split up even more. Patty, like many of our other awesome schools, have done such a phenomenal job of creating a positive and supportive learning environment for our children, and our kids are connected and engaged with one another, and a sense of pride they have in their school and their education and community has really evolved over the years. As a parent of a 6th grader and 2 other future middle school students, I would love to see the kids stay together. I also feel that transportation is something we can't overlook, and Plan 2A will help with that. And I just want to close with this. As members of this community, we are truly invested in not only the education of our daughters, but also to all of our students in the county. As educators, we want to ensure that high quality education and teaching is accessible to all of our students. As we move forward with the planning and implementation of the boundary changes, I encourage committee members to continue making sure they make every effort to hear the voices from families at the other schools as well. These boundary changes will also affect the lives of those children and their families, and it's important that their voices be heard. I appreciate the forums and opportunities to connect and engage, but now more than ever, we have to think of ways to reach families who may not have the same access to technology and resources as others. It's a systemic problem we as a society continue to face in education, and I just want to make sure we continue to create and support accessible spaces for those voices.
All right, thank you, Ms. Snyder. And thank you to your family for being a dedicated teacher to Hampton Middle for over a decade and a half. I think we don't have to explain the types of communities that educators can facilitate and foster in these environments. And as we go through shifting attendance areas, change is challenging, and we appreciate that feedback and that sentiment to try to keep neighborhoods together. That's something that the regulation does incorporate. So thank you very much for the input this evening. Okay, looking down our list of callers, we have Mackenzie McLeod next, following Melissa Lauren. Mackenzie,
Good evening.
with us? Please
Yes,
join
good
us.
evening. Good
Yes,
evening,
good
gentlemen. My name is Mackenzie McLeod, and I live in the River Oaks community. And at the current time, my child would attend the new middle school under all the plans. Today, I'm speaking from a unique perspective. I'm speaking from the perspective of a parent who has 2 children in Prince William County schools, but also the perspective of an educator in another county. I know at times when new schools open up, there is often heated debate over who will attend the school. Way too often, communities are deeply divided over the issue because each parent wants their child to attend the best school. The decision that will be made about the boundaries of the new middle school will have ripple effects in the neighboring and surrounding communities. Regardless of the decision that is made, there will be proverbial winners and losers. It is my belief that to uphold the vision statement of PWCS, the board and its members must select a boundary that will ensure that the new middle school will have a diverse population and will correct previous mistakes of schools in PWCS with limited diversity in their student population. Let's allow everyone the opportunity to have a world-class education. Thank you for your time and your attention in this matter.
Thank you so much. Okay, our next 2 speakers will be Melissa Lawrence, followed by Franz Helchinger. Ms. Lawrence, if you're available, we're ready to hear it.
Good evening. My name is Melissa Lawrence. I live in Montclair, and I have a daughter in 4th grade at Patty Elementary School. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to say a word or two here. I looked over the plans, and I prefer the 2A over all the others. It's the most efficient transportation option with the least amount of time in transit for our students and the best utilization of the county resources. And it also allows for the majority of the Patty Elementary students to stay together in middle school. And then, as Lisa Snyder said, transition back together in high school. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Next will be Franz Helchinger, followed by Dennis Obach. We're ready for you, Franz.
Good evening. My name is Franz Helchinger. I have 2 children at Patty Elementary, and I would like to voice my support for Plan 2A. I'm not going to be able to make it as eloquent as Lisa Snyder did. Probably one of the nicest people you could ever meet. Got to know her working through Patty and also extracurricular activities as well. So the sense of community that Patty Elementary has been able to put together, it reaches throughout the entire community. 2A supports this because it keeps most of the Patty kids that have grown up together moving along through the through geographic progression. Plan 2A is a much better supporter for transportation reasons as well. Sometimes the closest schools doesn't necessarily mean that that's the fastest, most efficient way to get to and from school. Being a commuter and somebody who does take their kids to extracurricular activities, just as an example, it takes me more time to get to the 234 commuter lot at Highway 1 than it does to drive past Saunders Elementary School. So for those two reasons, I would put my backing behind Plan 2A. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the input and the feedback. Okay, our next two speakers will be Dennis Obuck, followed by Genevieve Rao. Mr. Obuck, we're ready for you. The floor is yours. Just make sure that microphone icon is unmuted, should be green.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes, there we go, loud and clear.
Hey, nice to see you guys again. I spoke last week and I did submit my comments into the portal. And I want to thank you guys for everybody involved, actually, for all of your time and effort. This is definitely a challenging task. And I'm going to reiterate my comments from last week. And my kids go to Patty right now. I live in the Montclair Country Club area of Montclair. So we're zoned for Patty and Graham Park right now. And I'll be honest with you. I think, I'm pushing for, I guess, what's called the what if scenario, which would send the kids from Montclair in my area to Saunders. And I honestly feel that for the same reasons people are promoting the option 2A, Saunders is by far the better option because, number one, transportation, you avoid, the nightmare of Route 1. And Route 1 traffic, especially on Fridays, all that can be avoided, straight shot up to Saunders. So that's an important consideration. And also the geographic progression, because as a lot of people are saying tonight and last week, to keep the Patty kids together, well, we could do better by keeping most of the Montclair kids together, in addition to the Patty, by sending them to Saunders. So I really believe that. I think people see this as, 2A or Plan 1, but if they were given, the option of going to Saunders, and that was considered a viable option for people to choose, I know people in my area would prefer that kind of scenario. So I just, again, I submitted some comments to the portal and I spoke, and I'm still, just trying to push, the kids in the Montclair area where I am up to Saunders. I think it's just, when I think of Route 1, the transportation, especially on Fridays, and the progression where, we could keep the kids in Montclair together and then have them come back and know everybody at Forest Park, as opposed to coming back to Forest Park and really not knowing too many people. But I think that's about it. And I just hope maybe there can be some consideration to making some kind of amendment to one of the plans. And if that's not an option, then I would definitely say 2A would be my second choice.
All right, thank you, Mr. Obuck. And yes, I think I just want to mention that the Boundary Planning Committee has certainly entertained and looked at a variety of configurations, attempting to make that configuration where all of the Montclair HOA attends a single school, and that school being Saunders. And the committee's mindset, it's not quite ready to be a plan. That's why we provided kind of a working draft online. We're calling that a what if scenario. And you're certainly welcome to check that out on the Potomac Shores Middle School Boundary Portal. Okay, we have a few more speakers on our list. The next speaker is going to be Guinevere Rao, followed by
will need to mute any other device that's around that's causing the feedback.
All right. Ms. Guinevere, there might be a couple of devices with microphones also maybe broadcasting what we're listening to, and it's providing some feedback. If you could take a second and mute those other devices and then return back to chatting with us, we'll try this one more time.
Good evening, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. There's a little bit of feedback, but we'll try to have this conversation.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't know what's causing that. My name is Guinevere Rule, and I have 2 children at Patty Elementary. And I wanted to express my support of Plan 2A. I think that that's the plan that best maintains the progression of our Patty kids through middle school together as much as possible. My kids have formed close relationships with Patty and there's a great sense of community at that school, and I would love to see them maintain relationships through this into middle school years and into high school. And as the last speaker said, I'd also like to request that if it's possible, that the committee would further explore the what-if scenario that sends all of Montclair to Saunders. I know looking at tab 6, there should be some potential issues with that plan, but I have concerns about the traffic on Route 1. It takes me 20 to 30 minutes sometimes to cover the route between Potomac Shores and my house in Montclair during rush hour traffic. And that option seems like it would mitigate traffic issues. I realize that it might not be practical, but it would be fantastic to see it explored further. And I thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you, Guinevere. I'm glad we were able to hear you and hear that feedback. Certainly heard support for Plan 2A, but it's definitely some interest in that what if scenario, if that can be pursued further. Our next 2 speakers will be Candy King, followed by Janine Harris. Candy King, the floor is yours. Be sure to unmute your microphone and let's have a chat.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, thank you so much for pulling this meeting together. I live in the Southbridge community and I have 3 PWCS children who are all going to be impacted by the boundary changes. My first comment is I want to commend the parents of Patty and Montclair for really taking the time to organize themselves and advocate for their students. I want to advocate for those students whose parents are not here. They may be at work or other responsibilities, but a lot of these plans create a have and have not situation. Looking at the plan for 2A, the new middle school would have a 41% economically disadvantaged student, while the other schools would be at 60 or 70%. That's another level of diversity that I feel we need to consider. I think Plan 2A in particular splits up the River Oaks community. So the front part of River Oaks, where there are older townhomes, those students would be going to Potomac and the other students would be going to Potomac Shores, which splits that community. These children go to elementary school together. You know, their social and emotional needs are just as important. So to the decision makers who are listening, consider all students, consider diversity outside of just race, and create a plan, a boundary plan that will give all of the students here a fair chance. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that feedback. We have 3 callers left. Next one is Janine Harris, followed by Laura Lake Kennedy, followed by Curtis Peskel. Janine Harris, the floor is yours.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Welcome this evening.
Great, thank you. First of all, thank you for taking public comments. That's very appreciated. And I just want to share that I am also a Patty parent. I have a child that will be starting 5th grade, and then I have a rising kindergartner, and then an older Prince William County student. And I do want to share my support as well with the other callers for Plan 2A. I would love to see that the relationships that my child has made with the students since kindergarten, that he can continue to grow with them as they do go to high school. It would be great if they can stay together. And both parents in the household, we commute, we work very far away. So when middle school comes and we do want to try to make events and different, things going on, sports at the school, it gets very tricky when you're leaving DC and leaving other areas trying to get there with Route 1. So I do like Plan 2A the best. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. 2 final callers, Laura Leigh Kennedy. Be sure to unmute the mic. We're ready to have a chat.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for allowing other parents and myself to speak during this time regarding this boundary change that will affect our children. My name is Laura Leigh Kennedy. I have 3 children, 1 at each level of education in Prince William County Schools. I've been a Patty parent for 12 years, a staff member at Patty for 2 years, and we live in Montclair. This boundary change will affect my youngest child, who is currently in the 4th grade at Patty, and all other students at our school that I have built a relationship with throughout the years. I would like to say, since the discussions began about this boundary change, I have been very concerned and opposed to the preliminary plan to send our students to 3 different middle schools, putting my student at Potomac Middle School. Middle schools, we all know, is tough, academically, emotionally, and socially. Our children will be changing a lot during those 3 years, but need to continue to have the opportunity to stay with those whom they've built comfortable relationships with. Patty is not just a school community, it's a school family. Our students rely on the relationships that they have formed within our school family. I have watched this happen with my older 2 children as they have progressed to middle school and high school. Plan 2A will allow this to happen for our current and future students at Patty. Change is inevitable. Some students might choose to do a specialty program at another middle school and then again at high school that is not at their base school. However, majority of students in Prince William County prefer to stay at their base school so that they may remain with their friends. Although during middle school and again in high school, they build new relationships and have new interests, their foundation is still there from their younger years. Please keep as many Patty students together as possible. Again, Plan 2A will allow this to happen. The last point I'd like to make is that transportation is an issue on the Route 1 corridor. My middle school child, who currently attends Grand Park Middle School, is late for school at least once a week when riding the bus due to issues on Route 1. Having our students attend Potomac Shores will allow the buses to be on Route 1 for the least amount of time. Additionally, activity buses that are bringing students home, they're bringing them home very late due to the amount of time it takes to navigate through the traffic on Route 1 during rush hour. Potomac Shores is the closest option for our students so that they are not walking home in the dark, which can be a safety issue. Again, I would like to ask that Plan 2A be the boundaries put in place for our students. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
And thank you, Ms. Kennedy. We appreciate the feedback. We're now moving to our last speaker who signed up in advance, Curtis Peschel. Please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
Good evening. My name is Curtis Peschel. I live in Montclair, and I have 3 children who go to Patty Elementary School. I want to first say thank you. I appreciate your time and effort in putting all of this together and all the work you've put in providing us with the portal and the statistics that show us how you're making your decisions. I want to talk in support of Plan 2A, and a lot of what I have to say mirrors what previous speakers have said before. First, reading the enrollment data that you passed out in your handouts, I do see that there is disparity between the schools in the economic distribution. But I do see that since you're balancing many things, I see that the differences between Plans 1, Plans 2, Plans 2A, and the preliminary data are all pretty even. They all balance the economic and the enrollment percentages pretty fairly between the plans. So what I am interested in is what isn't shown in those percentages, the transportation, neighborhood, and progression breakdowns that the different plans have. The transportation and neighborhood breakdowns for Plan 2A would definitely keep the Montclair and the Patty students closer together and lead them with their friends into a middle school that they could stay with their friends, and then back into the high school where they can meet people back up again. The progression is definitely an issue. The preliminary plan broke them up into 3 schools, and I appreciate that you heard the comments from previous meetings and came up with a plan that breaks them into 2 schools. But I do agree with the previous caller that if you're already breaking them up into 2 schools, having the Montclair neighborhood, which is another consideration to take, having everybody go to Saunders is something to look at. With all that in mind, I appreciate all the things you've done for us, and thanks for this meeting.
All right, thank you very much. And that concludes our list of callers. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to one of our fellow panelists, Mr. Matt Townsend. He is going to offer our school board members in attendance an opportunity to address the crowd. I'm also going to put back on the screen the QR codes that would let you download the digital meeting handout. On that first page of the handout, you'll see that there is a link to the Potomac Shores portal. The link, in case you did not have a chance to speak tonight, whether through technical difficulty or a scheduling conflict, just want to remind everyone that you can use the feedback form on the portal throughout this weekend, and we will provide that information to the Boundary Planning Committee prior to their final meeting scheduled for this Monday at 7 p.m. All right, Mr. Matt Townsend, turn this over to you.
Great, thank you, Dr. Cartledge. Yeah, as he said, at this time, we would like to give our school members in attendance the opportunity to say a few things that they'd like. I think we'll go ahead and start with our chairman, Latif. If you'd like to say anything, the mic is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I've been chairman for 2 years, and this is my 3rd boundary set of hearings. I can't thank our boundary committee enough for all the hard work they're doing. I can't thank you all on the panel up there for doing all the hard work, and I want to thank our community members and speakers tonight who took the time to come and do this both last week and this week. The school board considers everything you all say very importantly. I look forward to hearing what the boundary committee recommends, and I will work closely with the school board members in the affected districts to hear them as well. But thank you all very much, and have a wonderful evening. And thanks again for supporting our schools. Have a wonderful night.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Latif. Now I think we can move to our vice chair, Ms. Lori Williams.
Good evening. I just, again, want to echo our chairman's comments. I do appreciate all of the hard work involved by both our staff and the boundary committee. As I said before, boundaries are never an easy process, and I don't think anyone's ever 100% happy with the way that they go, but we always strive to do the best for our Prince William County school families. I appreciate the comments made tonight. I think there were some very insightful comments made from members of different magisterial districts, and I really appreciate everyone taking the time to weigh in. And I look forward to further boundary discussions with the staff, and I hope everyone has a great night. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Sticking over in our Eastern magisterial districts, Mr. Wilk, would you like to address the crowd at this time?
I thank you, everyone, and I want to thank all the participants. I want to thank the panel up here, being led by Dr. Cartledge. I want to kind of reiterate and echo the comments that were being said by the chairman and the vice chairwoman. I like to say this also, that there's never a perfect map. There's no way to perfectly create boundaries that everyone is going to be happy with. It is my full intention to support one of the plans adopted by the citizens of the representatives of these districts and the schools as the boundary plan and committee put forward next week. I do not believe the school board should be redrawing boundary lines on the panel and the podium. So I look forward to supporting one of the plans that are recommended by the Boundary Planning Committee. And as the member of the board who has the large proportion of district residents in here, I will ask the support of my school board for the plan that I would like to move forward with.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Wilk. How about Ms. Zargapur?
Good evening. Thank you for letting me crash the party here. We'll get more views, Dr. Cartledge, next time, I'm sure. Thank you to the Boundary Planning Committee. It's a lot of hard work that you have been doing, and I'm appreciative of it. I can't wait to see what other ideas people come up with. I know there's probably going to be some more input that will be coming in over the weekend. I also want to thank the panel and the who came tonight and for last week, and also the staff in Prince William County Schools that helped put all of this together. And thank you to all the community members and all of the speakers who gave their input. I am this is the first boundary issue I've gotten to sit through as a board member. And I'm just gonna take on all this information and work on with my colleagues to make the best decision we can for our students and our families. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Ms. Jessie, would you like the opportunity to address the audience right now?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, first of all, I thought I was done with boundary meetings with Dr. Cartledge. However, it looks like there is a slither of students in my district that I need to pay some attention to. I understand Mr. Wilkes' understanding that the majority of students are in his boundaries. I had that situation before, and I will always consider that. But I will also look at the consideration of students in the Occoquan district. You guys do a tremendous job. I look at the work that you've done. I know that we come back and we ask questions, but that's our job as a board. But when I look at the comprehensive planning that is done, and when I look at the maps and all the input and just the slide presentations in themselves, I am really just amazed at how the amazing people that work for Prince William County School, and I'm honored to be a member of the school board. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jessie. We will now go to our Western Magisterial District members. Ms. Wall, would you like the opportunity?
Thank you to our professional staff, and thank you to the committee and to all of the citizens who spoke tonight. It's always really great to hear back from our community what they think and what their ideas are. So I really appreciate hearing from you. I especially want to thank the committee members. You have a hard job. This is not easy. I have sat on 2 boundary committees as a parent in the past and wrestled with numbers and maps and charts, and I know it's really difficult, but I really appreciate you very much, and the time that you have spent is important. We cannot do this without you, so thank you. I look forward to hearing, seeing what the committee comes up with after this meeting, and looking forward to seeing the plans, and hopefully I can be a part of making the right choice.
Great, thank you very much. And our last school board member in attendance is Ms. Jackson. Ms. Jackson, would you like the opportunity to address the audience at this time?
I just want to make sure I say thank you to the committee and the panel tonight, and for all those who spoke today. I look forward to future input in the next couple of weeks and working with the committee and board. So, and have a good evening.
Thank you very much. Dr. Cartledge, those are all our school board members in attendance.
All right, thank you very much all who joined us this evening. We'll be signing off now. Please join us again next Wednesday at the school board meeting where we will present up to 3 recommendations by the Potomac Shores Middle School Boundary Planning Committee. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Take care.